He's ready.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm wonderful as well.
Yay.
How was your day today? Someone's hungry.
My day. Yeah, he is. He's very excited. It is supper time for the babies, but he's a little distressed. You boys will be boys. He's very demanding. My day was good. Good day. Another great day giving abortions. Not really. I don't give them, but another great day facilitating the women
to happen.
making them able to get abortions.
Yeah, very good, very good. Hi to people in chat. Ice Goddess, Expired Milk, Robin, Green Emerald, Marie. Hi. So, what's Carla? Hello. So for anyone who doesn't know, my best friend is here with us this evening. T.
Hi.
You've been on the channel a few times.
I have.
We're best friends of 10 years.
10 years.
Now? Yeah. Wow. Very exciting. Anything new or interesting you want to share with the class?
I don't know about new or interesting, but I'll just give a quick hello. I live in BC, Canada, which is on the west coast of our big country. I work at an abortion clinic, which is where the inspiration for today's discussion came from. I am a radical feminist. I am a wife to a beautiful woman. I am a cat mom and some other things, but those are the most important ones, I think.
I agree. All very good and true and wonderful things. So many friendly people in the chat. Hello.
I know, so sweet.
Yeah. So let's see. So you recently went to the, what is it called?
So the foundation is called NAF. We just call it NAF. It's the National Abortion Federation. National refers to the United States, but they also just kind of include Canada under their wing, I guess. And we do have our own Canadian meetings as well, but they're obviously much smaller, like just population wise. We don't have nearly as many people as the States. So there isn't the need for as many clinics. And Canadian population is very like squished within like
the same.
Yeah, like a
200,
most
180 miles from the border.
Exactly. Yeah, most Canadians live like within the southern section of their provinces. So so just less Canadian clinic representation, and because there's a lot of political similarities between Canada and the US, like it's good for us to stay involved with what the situation is over in the States. And obviously they just have all the money, you know, they have all the people, they have all the money, they have all the resources, but also they have a lot of conservative power against them as well. So so the National Federation annual meeting was in Washington, D.C. at the end of April, and I got to go. It was very exciting. I went with the executive director and a couple other staff at my clinic, and it was super, super powerful. There were 13,000 attendees, and these attendees all work in abortion care. So they either provide abortions, or they work at abortion clinics, or they work in abortion advocacy, or they work for NAF itself. And it was so powerful to get to be around that many people, and like vast majority of them are women too, which is not common in other like, healthcare fields necessarily.
Certainly.
I mean, obviously it is the case in most women's health, which is what this is. But yeah, it was super. I really, really loved it. It was very powerful, but also a lot of thank you. But also a lot of warning signs for the direction that things are headed for the States and possibly Canada that are that give me the creepy crawlies. So we gotta talk it out. We gotta know what's coming. We gotta take care of each other.
Right.
That's why I brought this up with you. I was like, we gotta have this conversation from a radical feminist perspective. I think that is really, really missing in the space, and we'll touch on that some more. But it's crazy that something that is so entirely a women's issue is still able to be co-opted by others if they can kind of convince their audience that they are more deserving of the attention, like there's a huge gender movement in abortion still, and the like an eradication of the word women in abortion care, and
that's insane.
Yeah, so it's a big it's something that I was trying to avoid when I moved into specifically women's health. And here we are. But at least no matter what, I know I'm going to work to like provide like critical care to women, regardless of how they identify, like regardless of whether our politics align. That isn't a requirement to deserve the care you need. So I'm still really happy to be in the space, but just very protective of it. Like when the time and funds of abortion providers and abortion provision organizations and advocacy groups are taken up by things that aren't actually abortion relevant or women's issues, that is where I think the problem really is, because like we have not solved the basics yet enough to expand into the superlatives of like we don't have the basics down. like let's just make sure that women can get abortions when we need them before we start like getting fancy with it. But gender's where the money is right now. So
yeah, this is great from Green Emerald. Saw the term bodies with uteruses in a post talking about abortion ban in Brazil.
Oh, that's so I hate it.
Yeah.
It's so dehumanizing, and it's so like it paints us like incubators. It's so
like existential gamer said.
Yeah, exactly.
Ambulatory uterine incubators. God. So go ahead, please. This is your time.
Okay, so in 2022, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, it didn't change anything about the rules state by state. It just removed the kind of federal protection of decriminalizing abortion in the US. And that is what kickstarted all of the like conservative states. It kind of gave them permanent act their individual statewide bans. So since then, we've seen a lot of states introduce bans that may be based on gestation time or on the circumstances of the pregnancy. Like some places have bans, but they are exempt in the cases of rape and incest. Some of them only have exemptions if it saves the life of the mother, and some of them have no exemptions whatsoever, and you can't get an abortion in that state at all.
Wow.
And so those clinics, from what I saw at the NAF meeting, a lot of those clinics have shifted their efforts into serving the people they still can if they have a ban with with like contingencies, and getting their patients to places where they can legally get abortions as quickly as possible. So they've kind of transformed into basically like transportation agencies. Like they're stuffing people in vans and getting them to other states. In my research for our discussion today, I found out that over 170,000 women just last year had to travel out of state to get abortions.
That's horrifying.
So yeah, so those were women who were living in or residing in states where abortions were not legal, and they had to find a way to get to another state. And some states are like super tiny and you could like throw a rock and hit 3 states, but some states are massive. Like Texas is the second most populous state in the US, and they have a full ban. There's no exception for rape. There's no exception for incest. There's no exception whatsoever. You cannot get an abortion there. And there are a dozen counties in Texas right now that also have put bans in place that you can't even travel through their town to get an abortion. Right. And this is crazy because you can't enforce that. It's basically a useless law, but it's just there to scare people because they can't, like, they don't know why you're driving through their town. They can't enforce something that like stop everybody and check to make sure they're not giving abortions. Like they can't actually enforce it, but it's just a scare tactic, and it works because I read last year a study by a reproductive health agency called Resound Research found that nearly a quarter of Texan women incorrectly believed that there had been a law passed banning out-of-state travel for abortion. So like it's a total, like it's just an attack on like just women's agency. It's not even just, we don't want to do that here, we don't believe in that here, which I mean would be a problem on its own, but it's so clearly targeting the well-being of these women. It makes me so furious. So I did some reading through just last Texas is a bit of an area of focus here because it's so populous, huge, it's so conservative. It's a good like example, kind of a microcosm of like what could happen in the states, what's already happening there. Yeah. They just signed the Republican Party of Texas just officially voted in their 2024 platform. So I was reading it today. Like they just did it last week. So I was reading through the bits that are about abortion. It's chilling stuff. Like it's pretty bad. Like first of all, they don't refer to women, they only refer to them as mothers, which is so weird. Like specifically in talking about abortion, like that's I really don't like that. Like it made me so mad
because like that's people talk about reducing women to whatever, and that fully is like a woman is and can be more than just a vessel who births and raises a child. Like
I know. And if you're talking about somebody who's seeking out an abortion, that's like an incorrect label if they don't have children. Like that is just it really makes me mad.
That's really
and their party platform officially supports this insane act called the Preborn Non-Discrimination Act, which uses just like legal jargon to make the anti-choice stance into a discrimination issue, basically claiming that people who get abortions are discriminating against their, I don't know, quote unquote preborn child, and trying to claim that people get abortions because they're afraid of their child having a disability or sex selective abortions or motivated by racism or what have you, like any reason. but not really taking into consideration that just the woman doesn't want to be pregnant or doesn't want to create a child. And
wow,
it's really I find it so insidious to put this guise of anti-discrimination on this when it protects the fetus above the woman. And like when you read the rest of this, you should see the discriminatory stuff they have in here. Like, this is a legal document that says that homosexuality is an aberration of a life choice or whatever. Like, it's fully like it's full on bonkers. And it makes even life-saving abortion a criminal act if you get it after an ultrasound, because they claim that seeing the ultrasound means that you've made the decision to make the abortion because of the ultrasound, which means that what you saw made you decide that, which means it's discrimination because you're deciding it because of what the baby looks like or their sex or whatever. Like, it's so convoluted and so misrepresentative of what abortion is, and it discourages pregnant women from getting pregnancy care like abortion, not like abortion, I mean that too, but like ultrasounds, because a woman would be like scared to get an ultrasound, because as soon as you get an ultrasound, now you are like liable to be like to have your decision treated as a criminal offense because you have the information to work with. Like, it's shocking. And right now there is an exemption in the Texas Penal Code for physicians who perform life-saving abortions to not be tried for homicide, because abortion is considered homicide in Texas. But they're trying to remove even the exemption from physicians performing life-saving care if it's an elective abortion. So basically they're trying to make it so that it is a crime to perform an abortion unless the woman does not consent to it. Like, unless she is like so like
incapacitated.
In such like dire health that she's unable to even make the decision herself. But it specifically says apply only to non-elective abortions. That, oh my God, like, imagine being in a situation where an abortion would save your life, but because you, the woman, know about it and want it, you can't do it because it's a crime. Like, it's just so chilling. Like, it has to be up to only the man for it to be legal.
That's sick. And how can these people, like, they call themselves pro-life, but they're like advocating for women to die?
Seriously, it's shocking. And that's a good point, and it leads us really well into the next thing, which is that there's some fear mongering going on about this. So like, we're not quite at like DEFCON 5 yet, but the goal of this party is to make, here, I actually wrote down the exact quote. It says, right to life and equal protection of the laws to all preborn children from the moment of fertilization. So what that means is that performing an abortion would be legally treated the same way as murdering an
existing person
or like a living child. And in Texas, the like capital punishment is legal, and that is supported in this same document that claims to be pro-life. It specifically says capital punishment is properly, like, it says properly applied capital punishment is legitimate, which is so shocking.
Freaks me out about that comment or that quote is like, from the moment of fertilization, like just because an egg is fertilized by a sperm, it doesn't mean it's going to ever become a baby.
I know.
Like, it has to implant into the uterine lining first in the first place, but like,
it shows such a poor understanding of the process, and it makes it very, very clear that it's just a tool to restrict women's agency.
And like, yeah, I wish
it's
a
bad.
conservative person who like really believes this shit could really like present like an argument that would make any sort of sense. Like, what is the goal here? What do they want? Like, do they want hundreds or thousands of unwanted children, children who cannot be cared for, children who grow up in such dire circumstances that they're going to become like a blight on the legal system? Like what?
Yeah.
What do they want?
I don't know. I think they just want to like make God happy or something. Like, you should see how much God was mentioned in this document. Like, this legal document about politics. Like, it talked about the creator and God's way and stuff.
What
like,
about
just
separation
so
of
much.
church and state?
You would think. I know.
And also it makes me insane because these super hyper religious Christians primarily, like if they knew like their God is a super murderous,
I know,
vengeful, like how many people has God killed?
Right?
Like, what the hell? Like, okay. All right.
So where are things heading currently? The direction doesn't look great. A lot of states are taking advantage of the overturning of Roe v. Wade to enforce these bans, but a lot of states have also ratified abortion in their state constitutions, and that's really encouraging. I don't know. I mean, in the States, it's really fascinating. Like, what abortion providers are talking about when they gather is, how do we keep our clients safe from protesters? How do we keep our clients safe from police? And
that's so like,
it's really, really sad because like I didn't realize until I was there talking with American abortion providers how lucky we are in Canada. We have what's called a bubble law, where there is a, I think, 50-meter bubble around any clinic that you are not allowed, like, even if it's if it's technically public property, you still can't cross the bubble. If you're a protester, that's illegal. Like, unless you are being provided the healthcare that clinic is there to provide, you're not allowed to be there. So we're protected from those protesters, whereas in the States, they don't have those protections, and they have so many more people and so many crazies that are just like slamming on the walls or trying to like physically stop women from accessing the care that they need. And then what do you do when you work at a clinic like that and you're being harassed, or your patients are being harassed, and you can't call the police because the police are armed and conservative? Like, it's not safe. Like, you're putting your patients in more danger allowing police to come. Like, they have to have plans in place specifically to avoid having to involve police, because they know that the police bring more risk to their patients than they bring any security. It's truly dystopian. It's really, really rough. And despite all this, it's like the big conversation happening in these spaces is, how do we make it more gender inclusive? How do we get the word women out of our care? How can we get gender affirming care into abortion spaces? Exactly. The perfect timing for this slide. It really I can't even put words to how discouraged and just infuriated it makes me that, like, women have fought so hard over so long to get healthcare. Like, even now, when, I mean, from the state of the world and the state of like healthcare and technological advancement, you would think we would have figured out like the basic things that plague like 1 in 8 or 1 in 4 women, but still like female specific health issues are so rarely like researched and properly treated and dealt with. And the priority in female specific healthcare environments being how can we support the women who don't want to be women instead of how can we support women, period, is just so brutal.
Yeah. And for as well, it's like it's such a tiny portion of the population, right? Like to what am I trying to say? To completely restructure the way you do things for the 0.2% or whatever. Like,
yeah, I've been working at my clinic for a year now, and in that time we've had one patient who identified as a man. And and but still, like, the entire staff has to take required DEI training. That like, I don't want to complain about DEI training because I think that anti-racism is a really, really important thing to teach in healthcare because, like, the medical system is racist as fuck. And I am, like, super supportive of anything that is going to start to deal with that issue and deconstruct it. Certainly. But gender elbowing its way into DEI conversations is the problem that I have. Is like, okay, so the like even let's just like look at the numbers, take politics totally out of it. If we're just looking at the demographics of our patients, like, we should be putting way more time and energy into making sure that our care is inclusive to Indigenous patients and inclusive to like English as a second language speakers. But we're putting proportionately way more energy into this gender conversation just because it's like, it's where the money is, it's what's popular right now, it's what makes people look good, it's what all the like young 20 somethings coming out of their master's degrees care about. Like,
it's really upsetting to think about too, because that's just the way things go. If more attention, time, money, etc. is focused on the DEI stuff, that's money, time, focus, etc. removed from women's issues and care.
It's so disheartening. And when the conversation turned to like, because I mean, abortion clinics are struggling to stay open all over the place because, like, I mean, I struggle to generalize anything, but by and large, like, they're trying not to overcharge patients. Like, we just want to get people in the door, want to provide them the healthcare they need. And so the question of like, what else can we do that's going to like keep our doors open is always an important one. And right now we rely really heavily on like IUDs, for example. We have an IUD clinic, and a lot of our abortion patients receive IUDs, and we have luckily in BC, all birth control is completely subsidized by the government, including IUDs, which is huge because they can be like $400 or $500 a pop, but they're like 99.9% effective for 5 years. Like, they're incredible. So you can come in for an abortion and get an IUD at no charge, but we're still getting money from the government for that because it's subsidized. And I love that. Like, I am all for that. I tell everybody I can about that. I am a huge fan of IUDs. I was on birth control from age 11 to 20 because of ovarian cysts. And it really fucked with my, like, I don't know, just everything. Like, it really messes with your hormones. And like, I didn't know what my actual period was like, and I had really bad acne. And I mean, I'll never know how much of the like depression and my like struggles with my weight and just everything that I kind of dealt with as a teenager, like, who knows how much that was affected by that. And many women deal with those things when they're taking birth control, and there are hormonal IUDs that will protect from pregnancy without any of those symptoms, and you don't even have to like remember to take a pill. It's really amazing. And also like I got my IUD because I have severe cramps. Like it's probably connected to whatever caused my cysts. I mean, like we said, doctors suck when it comes to female health issues, but
it's just being a woman.
So I don't have firm answers on what was going on with me, but my IUD completely got rid of my cramps altogether. So I'm married to a woman. I wasn't concerned about the like birth control aspect, but yeah, that's not strictly related to abortion, but just a tip if anybody.
It's still women's care though.
Yeah. Somebody made a point in the chat that it was very painful for them to get the IUD inserted. Yes. I have heard that as well. It is different from person to person though. Like I was really scared going into it because I'd heard some horror stories and didn't know what to expect. And for me, it was like maybe like, I don't know, like half of a cramp for a few seconds and then it was over. Wow. So, and I'm not saying don't be scared. It'll be super easy for you. You might have a hard time with it. I don't know. But just that everything isn't the same for everyone. And I know that for me, like I was dealing with such severe pain every month that it was definitely worth it for me. But yeah, just I like telling people about that because I resisted it for a long time because I was like, well, I don't need birth control, so why would I get this? But now, like, if I could go back, I would definitely get it earlier because it would have saved me a lot of pain. Anyway, to get back on track, so this conversation of what can we do what other services can we provide that'll get some money coming in, help us keep our doors open. For us, it's IUDs, but the conversation at NAF turned very quickly to gender affirming care. And like combining the concept of an abortion clinic with like a gender clinic.
That language is so dystopian to me, gender affirming.
I know.
It's biologically harmful. Like
totally.
A woman who has that level of testosterone running through her body is sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough, and I don't like the idea of it being like, I don't like it being considered healthcare at all. Obviously, that is one thing, but including it with abortion care is just so chilling to me.
Right.
And like so this isn't, I haven't seen or heard anything to indicate that this is the case, and I'm not intending on like spreading any misinformation, so this is just me speculating. But my fear is that like we're in women's health, and if it's going the direction of pro gender, then does that mean catering to trans women and providing gender care to people who identify as women instead of just women? Like, that's what I'm really scared of, is that like this movement that uses the words equity and inclusion is actually going to be what is shoving women out of women's health.
Right. And there'll be like some dude in fucking lingerie and heels.
Exactly. We're already, I mean, I was already seeing that at BC like Women's Hospital when I worked there.
Oh my God.
Like it's called BC Women's Hospital, but all over the place it's like all genders welcome, or like women and non-men, or like just, yeah. So it's not great.
Whoa. Just want to highlight this comment from Existential Gamer. I've seen Reddit posts about trans or non-binary girls convinced they can't get pregnant. even though they're having sex with boys because they don't identify as
serious issue in thank you so much for saying that.
Oh my God.
It's a huge misconception that testosterone makes you infertile. People who identify away from womanhood and medicalize their transition think that their transition is acting as their birth control, and then they get pregnant and are shocked that they're able to get pregnant. The pregnancy is in danger because of their medical state. Then they have to go get abortions, which is why this is a big conversation, because proportionately we're like, trans identified patients are a small portion of patients, but there are too many of them for how many of them there just are out in the world, because this is a serious problem. Like this is like a known thing in the abortion world.
Is it that they're on testosterone or puberty blockers therefore think that they're infertile, or is there also some I don't identify as a woman therefore?
It's possible that there's some like, I don't know, dysphoric thinking connected to it, but what I have like read and learned about it is like genuine medical misinformation that they're being prescribed testosterone and not being told the specifics, not understanding that it doesn't stop the processes in their bodies that make them fertile. I think it's a problem on both sides. One of like the ignorance of the individual, not understanding that like biology is biology, and regardless of your identity, you are who you are and your body does what it does. But it's also a huge like, I don't know, oversight makes it seem like it's an accident. I really think that like a lot of the medicalization of transition is very to me it's very opportunistic and is like predatory on young people especially, and I don't think it's, I mean, I don't mean that I think doctors are like wahaha and like keeping this secret from you, but just that like doctors like lifelong patients, doctors like complicated patients, and doctors like fast and frequent appointments, and all of that is what they get out of like working in gender care.
Right. They've got lifelong medical patients who need like monthly prescriptions, surgeries, revisions of surgeries. I'm not satisfied with this surgery, so let's do this surgery. Like, and then I suppose also not to mention all of the medical complications that will arise from taking opposite sex hormones for a length of time.
Exactly. Like those pregnancies are much less likely to be viable. So they're more likely to require an abortion or to require like a lot of prenatal care. And I mean, even a perfectly healthy pregnancy is hugely traumatic on the body.
Yes.
Like,
well, and even a perfect, like, what is it? 20 or 25% of all pregnancies end in natural abortion anyway. Like,
it's rough out there, kind of from all angles. It's like, oh my God, can women just live, please? But they really don't want us to.
No, they don't. No,
I want us to.
Me too. So, like, in that regard, then what can the average person do that's listening tonight or might re-listen to this in the future?
That's a good question. I think that everyone's different, and it like the first thing that I asked myself when I was getting involved in women's health and like my entrance into this actually was in anti-violence organizing. That was what introduced me to like nonprofit and women's health. I kind of came at it from a different angle. I started from the activist perspective, started volunteering with an anti-violence organization and a victim services organization. And that introduced me to advocacy organizations. And I really, really recommend getting involved with these kinds of things if you can, because it is really challenging and can be really disheartening work. But this is where women are. Like, when you get involved in this kind of advocacy work and this kind of, like, especially anti-violence, especially work that focuses on making women safe, like, men aren't doing it. So it's really hard, and it takes a lot out of you, but like, you're doing it with other women. It's such a good way to strengthen your own politics and to strengthen your own support system.
Your sisterhoods.
Exactly. And that's really, like, that was my big turning point of, like, oh, I want to make this the focus of my life and my career. And that's also what introduced me to the connections that I needed to have to get the jobs that I've had since then that led me here. So I would say, like, get involved if you can with something local. Like, if you live in the States, if you live in a state that has an abortion ban, maybe try to find out, like, what are your local abortion clinics and advocacy agencies doing about the ban, and how can you get involved in that? If you don't live in the States, then unless you live in Canada, I'm sorry, I don't know very much about what's going on where you live, but you could certainly find out, and guaranteed there are women there working really, really hard all the time to make it possible for the women where you live to be safe and to receive the health care they need. And there's a good chance that whatever they're doing is being, like, basically, like, fed on by this gender movement. So, like, I think that what we need is just more women who are here for the women. And I don't mean, like, be a shithead about it, but like just doing what we can to keep the focus of women's health on women is so important.
Yeah, extremely. Whether that's volunteering somewhere, donating money, if you can. I mean, I know it's hard out here for everyone these days with inflation and stuff, but if you don't have money to give, most of us have some time we could find. And, you know, even if it's not that, like money or time, you can write to or call your government representatives to advocate for what you think is important in regards to women's health care and the right to
kick
abortion.
up a stink. Like, make it known that there are other perspectives, and you just never know, like, when your voice is heard by the right person who has, like, an ear, who can actually do something with that information. Or you never know if you put to words something that someone else really believes but didn't have the ability to articulate before, or didn't have the courage to articulate. Like, if you're able to speak up for what you believe in, like, people will agree with you, even if those people wouldn't have said it first themselves. Like, you kind of got to be that person sometimes.
Yeah, it literally, like, all it takes is one person sometimes. And you could potentially be that person who gets in the ear of your representative, who then brings the attention to whoever's above them or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and you can email your government representative from your couch, like.
Totally. And that's awesome. I really think that like, doing something practical to provide for women is what, like, if you're really sitting there and asking, like, what can I do? Like, that's what you can do. Like, I think that we like you're of course right that like no email to a representative is wasted or anything, but like we can be so bogged down, I think, by the just the amount of information on the internet. You like, no matter how like true or pertinent it is, it's just all right in front of us, and sometimes we really need to be able to like look at another woman and see
be in the world.
Yeah, like see her relief when you are able to like carry her groceries for her because her arms are full. Like it doesn't have to be like I saved someone's life by performing an abortion illegally or whatever. Like I'm not saying like you have to be a superhero, but I think that like really connecting with the basics and like being of practical assistance to especially to like underprivileged women and to especially poor women and women of color who are like, not only are they overlooked in like legislature and in the like the conversations that are happening up at the high levels of like, what do we do with all this money at like in healthcare facilities or what have you, but like I think a lot of women just like we do so much, like there's so much unpaid labor that women are doing every day. There's so like they have to support their homes. They might have children that they are raising, and if they are, they're probably doing it by themselves. Even if they have a partner who is there, it's unlikely that he's carrying any weight if he is around, and like he's probably more of a burden. Like women are just exhausted and are just trying to like scrape by day to day, and that has a huge impact on our capacity to act as a class and to like to stand up for ourselves and to enact change for ourselves. And so I think if you are in a place where you are able to ask, what can I be doing, it means that like you have capacity to be doing something. And that like move on that is what I would say. Like it doesn't have to be something specific. It doesn't like have to change the whole world, but like maybe just providing some relief to a woman who needs it in whatever way like suits you and your interests and your talents and what you have to give. Like that's what you can do, I think.
That's so lovely. I love
Thanks.
that. And I love, your passion and how wonderful you are. And I've been watching the chat, and everyone has been very appreciating you.
Oh, that's
great
very
you
sweet.
are.
I've been trying to keep an eye on it, but it moves quickly, and I'm like saying so many words.
No, it's good. You're the best.
Yeah, we're in a bad we're in a bad spot. Someone in the chat right now mentioning talking to teenage boys and like the
the presence of is a teenage girl, so
the presence of porn in like in our like it's shocking how early and how pervasive it has become, even just like in the handful of years that I have been kind of paying attention. It's gotten so much worse, even just in the last like 5-10 years. Yeah, we just really got to be taking care of our girls and taking care of women. And I was just reading today about how a girl was 12 years old and was having her first kiss with a 13-year-old boy who choked her out because he saw it in porn and thought that's what intimacy is. And it's just, and like, I've been seeing a lot too of like young girls trying to escape male violence from their peers, but like it's all being kind of hidden and convoluted because their peers are still minors, so they also deserve protection. And like, oh, think of the children, but think of the boys. It's like, it's protecting these boys who are the ones perpetrating the violence. Like, it's bad out there.
Lisa and I not recently, but a few weeks ago, did a stream about the prevalence of choking among youth sexual activity.
That's really interesting.
And it was something
it's really bad out there.
It was like 78%, I think, or maybe 82% of women, so we'll just call it 75 to 85% of women, reported that they have been choked by an intimate partner by the age of 12.
Well, we also should call it what it is, because technically it's not choking, it's strangling.
Yes, that was the point of the stream too.
Yeah, like, oh man, that is just so hard to hear. It's so scary because it only takes one time.
That's it.
It only takes one time to too hard. Like,
it's not this like Lily, 12 by the age of 12. And also, yes, it's not choking, it's not breath play, it is strangling, which is truly deadly.
And it's not even the breath restriction that's necessarily the dangerous part. Like, there's so many things, the
crushing of the trachea,
exactly, or the restriction of the blood flow to the brain as well. Like, there's a lot of dangerous things that can happen that way, and it's not like these boys or men are doing their research. Like, they don't care about the like health and safety of their partners.
Robin just mentioned that she tried to talk to a friend about choking during sex, and she kept saying that she knows how to do it the right way. And there is truly no right way. There is no safe way to strangle somebody.
It's very sad.
And very scary. I also read a stat too about, not about choking, but about the prevalence of porn, and that most men under the age of 25 had their first exposure to hardcore pornography by age 8.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And I also read something about like teachers reporting that like boys just watch porn on their phones at their desks in high school and junior high. Like, I've said before, I am
so glad I was out of school before smartphones.
Oh God, me too.
Holy shit.
And I've said before, like, I'm out of high school 18 years now, but like, at least back then, I think about how it was like porn was still something shameful. Like, men hid their magazines. Like, it was still something shameful and to be embarrassed about, and something that people felt it was justified when wives were upset by it. And now it's just like,
now like women Netflix. Are shamed if they're upset by criticize their boyfriend using porn, which is just so mind-boggling.
This world. Yeah, I am beyond grateful that I didn't even see a smartphone for the first time. The first one I saw was an iPhone 3, and that was like 2008. Like, I'm so glad that I got through school unscathed by the age of cell phones and social media and everyone having a camera in their hand.
Yeah, me too. But
horrifying.
But it also just, it makes my stomach sink. Like, just so many girls. And it's so, like, we don't know how to protect them from it because, like, it's like kind of new, you know, like this easy access at least is new, and the attitude around it has changed, and now it makes I feel like it's made it much harder to protect girls, and we have to be like sneaky about it almost because we run the risk of being discriminatory.
Or, you know, I read a Tumblr post the other day too that was about this topic and about the ways in which young girls and young women are quick to dismiss older women for being out of touch or not being cool or whatever. And it's like, no, we are just so desperately trying to protect and help and save you. It's not about coolness.
Yeah, the book Hags by Victoria Smith talks about this really, really interestingly, that it is this like very deliberate thing that has been put in place to basically make the work of feminism have to be redone by every generation, because we don't trust or feel like we can rely on the generations that came before us. So instead of building on their work, we are deconstructing it or redoing the same things that they did, but with a different name.
Right.
It was very, very fascinating just about how like it's very built into our culture to like to dismiss women and the work that they have done because of their age, and that
like women in the second waves fought for genuine liberation and empowerment, but now we're being told or taught that our subjugation is what is empowering.
Right. Exactly. Well, even the existence of waves at all is a decent example of this.
That's
like
true. Great point.
What other civil rights movement has that?
Waves.
Like obviously they do, there are like ebbs and flows of victories within a movement, but I think the way that we think about feminist activism in those terms, like they're pretty clearly generations to me. Like when you kind of look at like who was doing what in the eras that we're speaking about, like it, and when people criticize the like third wave and like it's just dismissing the work that feminists have done and refusing to build on it. And that means that you are like whatever you're starting now, you have to start fresh. You don't have that established foundation to build on.
Right.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, I highly recommend that book. That's a really good one.
Hags by Victoria. Who?
Victoria Greenwich Smith, I think is her name. Like Greenwich. But if you just look up Victoria Smith, you'll find it.
Yeah, I know who she is on Twitter now that you say that. Victoria. Thanks by Victoria. Here we go. Hags, the demonization of middle-aged women.
Super fascinating. Loved that one.
Yes. I haven't read that one yet, but I definitely should. We read Invisible Women together.
Yeah, we did. That one is like the first thing I recommend to feminists, because like it just,
are you there?
Not everyone thinks the same way I do, but oh, can you hear me? Did I lose you?
Can now.
Oh, okay, good. I always recommend Invisible Women because it speaks my language of like, here are the numbers, here's the history, here's the facts, and it gives you a really, really good like if you're ever looking to kind of have some things in your pocket to say in conversation, like in feminist conversation, it's a really good one for that, because it's very readable, it's very accessible, but it has very well researched and sourced out facts about how like day-to-day life and the way that the world operates. Yeah, absolutely not made for women, and in fact specifically made for men, but also does a really, really good job of explaining all the many ways why things being made specifically for men harms women, because women are different from men. Right. And like that is such like that's such like a taboo thing to acknowledge. Like even some women would say that it is anti-feminist to say that women are not the same as men, but
we aren't.
Exactly. Like it's so important to acknowledge reality and to provide for people like as they are.
A lot of the pushback on that is like they interpret it as us saying things like we're not as capable as men.
Right.
Which is not what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly. It's when we criticize that the world was made for men and therefore women can't succeed at the level that they deserve to, we're not saying women can't succeed as well as men. We're saying there's a problem with the system that created this imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's a total like distraction to claim that we're the ones saying that pardon, that women are less capable.
Yes. Where is that? Oh, I wish I could find this political cartoon. I'll never be able to find it. But basically, it's an image of a man and a woman in like hurdles blocks, like crouching to prepare for hurdles. And on the man's path, it's just the hurdles that he has to hop over. And on the woman's path, she's got like a ball and chain on her ankle, and there's barbed wire around one of the hurdles, and there's spikes coming out of a pit. And it's like,
exactly.
Yeah, we're not crossing the same set of hurdles.
Yeah. Or men being like, well, look at how much better men are at sports. And it's like, are you kidding? Men invented sports to be good at them. Like, why would that be a measure of success? Like, even in a world where most medical care is specifically catered to men and only men, we're still outliving y'all. Like, please.
Yeah. It is ridiculous. I found one, but it's way too small.
But yeah, the Invisible Women is also a great recommendation if you are trying to entice someone over to the dark side in terms of trying to radicalize someone, because it's not outright gender critical, I would say. Like it's quite accessible to like kind of your everyday liberal feminist, but I think like it will really get your wheels turning. Like I think she walked that line really, really successfully.
I personally, since we're doing book recs here, would also recommend My Tried, Tested, and True, Who Cooked the Last Supper by Rosalind Miles. I think it's an extremely easy intro level, like a junior high girl could read it and get something great from it, and your grandmother could too. And it's all about the ways in which women are just left out of the conversation. Like the title, even everyone knows the story of the Last Supper with Christ and his disciples, but like, who cooked the Last Supper? Certainly it was a woman. Who was she? So it's a really great intro level book about how women are erased and written out of the conversation.
I love that.
Me too.
Well, and I like Lily's point in the chat that pursuing physical strength and fitness is empowering for women. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this recently too, because my whole life, like exercise or fitness and strength were all pushed really heavily on me specifically to lose weight, and it made me really associate like the feeling of like trying to build my strength and my endurance with the feeling of like failure and the feeling of being like my body being wrong and that I need to make myself smaller. But really in the last few years, I have gotten to a place where I am very like comfortable with my body, very happy with my body, and I don't feel the urge to change it, but I still really want it to be strong, and I still really want to be healthy. And really for the first time I kind of started to come around on like, oh, it is worth it for us to pursue this. And now I'm in the process of trying to find like, what do I actually like to do with my body, as opposed to what will sculpt my tummy or whatever. Like, what does my body like to do? What can I do that like will show me like tangible results in like, now I can do more of this activity, or what have you. And it's given me a new way to think about my body that feels really positive and healthy. Like, I've been trying to think of myself as my body, as opposed to separate from it, or as my body as something that I'm like carrying around with me. Like, it is me, and it's the only me I got.
That body. The body is you.
Exactly. And it is very powerful. So
Lily's our
I agree. And I would
girly.
like, if there, my God, I would love to just like manifest a group of women that I could exercise with, where like our shared goal is anything other than weight loss, like anything else. That would be a dream.
That would be a dream. Well, you could be the one who does it.
I know, maybe. Yeah, just add it to the list.
Yeah, exactly, right? Just another thing. Oh, no, that's great though. That's so important. And yeah, when we talk about empowerment, like Lily said, pursuing fitness and strength, that is literally empowering.
Yeah.
Like, empowerment isn't, I like it, it makes me feel good. It is what is going to actually give you power and advantage, longevity, strength, etc.
Yeah. Well, I think whenever we're using the word empowering, it has to be like, where's the power coming from? Who's giving it to you? Where was it before? When it comes to something like this, you're creating that power yourself by increasing your strength. It's very literal power within your body, and you are giving yourself the ability to have a longer and healthier life, and to do more of the things that you want to do with your body. And then a lot of the other things that people refer to as empowering, while they do often involve a power exchange, it often is not
in our
what
favor.
It seems like. Like, if you think putting on makeup is empowering, the power that it gives you is only over your own barefaced self. It is not genuine power, and it is borrowed, and it's handed to you momentarily by a man who is like giving it to you because you have acquiesced to his idea.
You've obeyed.
Yeah. So
that's not power.
I totally agree with you that we have to be careful about that word empowering, but that Lily used it well.
She sure did. Yes. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I got through all my notes, so I feel pretty good about that.
Good. Yeah, me too. And I know you just pretty much got home from work and hopped right on here, so I'm happy to give you some time with your wife.
Yeah, right in the door. Oh yeah, well, it's always lovely, and you always have such wonderful, sweet, and like very insightful people in the chat. And
the women who come are so amazing.
I appreciate all of you for giving us your time today and for participating in the conversation. And hopefully you, I don't know, learned something or had a good time. And yeah, we're all out here fighting the good fight, I think.
Yes. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on here and chatting with me. And we kind of chatted a little bit recently about maybe it might be a little bit more frequent than
I would love to
once a
come back
quarter.
more. We have some fun ideas that I would love to explore. It's just kind of a matter of scheduling, but yeah, I would be super thrilled to make my way onto your channel as often as I can. So so if you're to the lovely women in the chat who enjoyed hearing from me today, I hope you'll stick around because I'll be back. And even when I'm not back, Radical Ramblings always rambles the best things. And you should definitely be listening to the extremely insightful things she has to say, especially just how much work she puts into this and making these incredible feminist concepts accessible to women. That is your great passion and your great skill, and it is such a pleasure to watch you work. So I am so excited to be part of it, and I love you very much.
Well, I'm so excited to always have you, and I'm excited to talk to you every single day, and I love you, and you're the best. And
so are you.
Thanks. So thank you to everybody who came in the chat. I saw some new names here this evening, so it's so nice to see that. We love lurkers here. Thank you. Be back sometime soonish. I don't know. So I'll just let you all know. I put in the description box links to donate to the National Abortion Federation, both Canada and the USA. If you choose to do so, the links will be there. Yeah. And the best thing you can do to support a YouTube creator is a comment on their channel, because it is what really helps us. So if I can be so bold as to ask that when this is over, you just hit refresh and leave a comment about something you learned from T, something you were shocked by, something you're hopeful for, that would be so appreciated.
Oh my God, I would really, really love to read those. So definitely do that, because I will be scrolling through them, especially because I didn't get to see the entire chat the whole time I was talking. So I would love to see your takeaways. So
lovely.
If I will also be so bold to ask for the same thing.
Cool. Okay. Thanks everybody. Thanks T. Love you.
Yeah, love you all. Thank you so much.
Bye.